Hi everyone, it's Michelle from Country Morning Creations, and I'm here today with a process with me video on how to make these, I'm going to call these boho altered paper clips, but I think you can make them as boho-ish or not as boho-ish as you would like. It's a process with me because I'm not quite sure what I'm doing. So I saw these, Kim's over at Serene Bookworks, and I will post the link below, has put out a challenge and a swap as well for making these kinds of altered paper clips. And I wanted to jump in and do it, and I thought, this is a great idea to just do a video. There's tons of them out there. So if you go to Kim's Serene Bookworks, she also has links to more videos of people who are doing this. So let's get started, and what you want to start with is just a paper clip, a plain old paper clip. And the way I'm doing this is I take leftover scraps. I have leftover paper. I'm just going to glue that right around this paper clip. For me, one of the things that I found worked best was to actually put the glue straight to the paper clip so that the paper actually sticks to it. I'm just using the Beacon 3-in-1, which is not the same as their Fabrifix. They actually are very different. This actually does not work really well with fabric, so I don't recommend it for a fabric application, but with paper, it seems to work beautifully. And then I'm just going to glue again, run a bead of glue along this edge. And fold that over again. And then I'm going to set that aside to dry. And then I have, yay for the magic of YouTube, I have a dry one here. And what I'm using to go around it, actually I'm going to leave the one we're working on here, and that way you can kind of see the different processes. I'm using just this lace. I am thinking I got it at either Walmart or Hobby Lobby, I think, somewhere like that. Oh, I think it's Hobby Lobby. And it is Merchant 41 Decorative Trim. And I'm going to simply glue this to this. I'm just going to run some glue all the way around this as well. Gonna drop it. Let's turn this thing over. Let's get some glue on this side. And all the way around on the edge. We want this to stick really well. I find it easiest to start from the back and then wrap this more around it, trying to get it in the center, and then wrap that onto the back. And there you go. Just glue that lace right on. Then let that dry, and voila! I have another one. Yes, these kind of videos can take forever to set up if you do it right, so I didn't want to have you guys waiting for me to do stuff. Now, one of the things that's key with these altered paper clips is that you wrap something around the middle. And I chose this pink ribbon, and honestly, it's Ofre, but I think this ribbon is about 35 years old. Does that make it vintage yet? I bought it a long time ago. I had some project I was going to use it for, and I never did. And then when I got into making journals and junk journaling and journaling all of that, I found it again and thought, this is perfect. So I dug it back out. I didn't even have to go find it at a vintage shop or, pick it up someplace else. I am doing a little bow. I like the the look of the bow. We'll see if I can make this work. Takes sometimes a little bit of fidgeting and fussing to get it right, and probably I cut this a little bit too short. And so once you get it the way you want it, and again, a bow is completely optional. Ooh, I like how that's turned out. Once you get it the way you want it, one of the things you will want to do is actually put a dab of glue on this so that it doesn't come undone. Because you don't know how, if you're putting this in a journal, you don't know how someone else may use this. It may get smooshed a little bit. I don't put it directly on top, but putting glue on either side seems to help. And then I'm going to just trim this little edge. The other one is still pretty short. Always cut your ribbons at an angle so they don't totally fray and fall apart. And I probably needed a better pair of shears. So while that's drying, as you can see, we are now done with this first part. Now, for the dangle part, we need to grab a few dangle things. I'm going to actually adjust my lighting here just a little bit. Hopefully that makes things a little bit easier to see. So I grab a large ring, and then I'm going to use, I think I'm going to do this bead. Then I need a bit of chain for this thing, and I think for this one I used a heart on that one. I have this set of crowns, and so I'm going to pick out a crown, and we'll put a crown on there. Ooh, I like that. And then last but not least, we need this. And one of the things that Kim showed on hers was her part down here was actually much bigger than this, and she was doing really a cute spider theme on hers. So for mine, I wanted to do kind of pink, pretty, and frilly, and so I am doing that today. So we want to get to here, and what I do is I cut out, this is literally just some scraps of fabric that I had. Then to get the corners right, and I think I've shown this before, if you go back and look at my tutorial for mini tickets, I love doing this because this gives it a different look than the rounded ones. And then you just want to take this and real quickly, totally optional of course, but I go ahead and grungy up the edges just to make it help it stand out just a little bit. There we go. And then you have this. I'm going to grab that one instead. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is get out my crop-a-dile. I titled this Never Fear the Crop-a-dile. I literally had this thing for 6 months before I wanted to use it. It scared the bejeebas out of me. This thing is huge. So I wanted to point out what some of the things are in here. One of the things that we have here are, you'll see on the top, this button right here, this one that's the farthest away. This is the one that actually brings these two pieces together. And then right behind it, if you move this down to the 1/8 inch, that gives you, you can see here, this little punch here. And then if you move it again, this is the 3/16 punch, and that's the punch there. So all of these things move, both the tops and the bottom ones move. So how do you know how to match them up? Well, one of the things I didn't realize comes with it, I actually Googled this online and then realized I had it, is this. So all you have to do is match these little parts up with this little thing, and it's in all kinds of languages. And then it also shows you down here that you want to fit the little piece up at the top, not at the bottom. So we're going to start out by doing the 1/8 inch punch. So I'm going to go back to the middle, and I'm going to line this up in the middle. And I kind of take it down a little bit and see where it's going to go in. And there's also this really cool piece at the back that you can adjust so that everything, this part adjusts so that when you're making multiples of things, you can just set it and then you know exactly that everything will be the same, which is kind of a cool thing as well. Okay, well, I think that's pretty well set up. We're just going to punch a hole. And now I've got my hole. And I'm going to grab a little 3/16. Let me make sure this isn't going to just dump everywhere when I open it. Nope, it is, but let's try it this way. There we go. I just need one. Oh, there it is. It fell out. Okay. So I take mine. This is the way I do it. You can do it differently, but I like to just drop this right in there. And we go back up here. I have everything already set. And what I do is I actually push that and the piece up into the top, so it's already up there. And then I just, whoops, I didn't quite get it right when I laid it down. Let's try this again. And I'm just going to crunch it down, squeeze, and now you have that. So on something like this, especially when you're working with paper, it's really good to have a reinforcer. Now obviously for your dangles, if you don't have a crop-a-dile, and I did want to show you, see how it flowers out on the back? That's what it's supposed to do. That's how it actually grips in there. But if you don't have this, you can certainly use just a standard hole punch. And then you can certainly use any of your standard, paper reinforcers. So these two together would totally work. But did you see that? That crop-a-dile was so easy to work. So I know I had mine for 6 months and it was terribly, horribly frightening. And I just didn't want you to be afraid of yours if you are. Now I'm realizing I need to grab one more small ring. Let me grab a small ring because I need to put this charm onto this chain. And I'm going to just grab a little ring out of my box. By the way, I did get this box at Walmart and it is great. I actually got it in the tackle fishing lure area, much cheaper than what you'll find in the crafting area. So just go look in the tackle and kind of lure area. Oops. Of course I'm recording and I drop it. But I got it off the floor, so we're good. Now, I do have a tutorial on making dangles. I will post that link down below as well. But the key to these rings is never pull them apart this way. You simply want to twist them like this, and then you can put your dangle, and in this case my chain, right on it. There we go. And then I'm going to bend this back like, oops, let's try this again. Like this, and I have a little bit of a gap, so I'm going to just pinch it together a little bit, and now you have your dangle on your chain. Last but not least, we need to assemble this whole thing and put it all together so it looks like this. This is a really big one, and I needed a big one for what I'm doing. So I put these on in the order I want them to appear. I didn't do this the first time and realized that I really needed to put these on in a specific order. So I'm going to put that one, and then I'm going to hold that up so I get this on in the right order. I want this one to go next, and just feed that on like that. That's a little bit long. I'll probably go back later and shorten it. And then we have this. And then this gets attached to the bottom of your paper clip. Now we have everything on there together, and I'm going to let go. Now see how things dangle down? Everything's going to dangle down. We just twist this all back together. And voila! And I've seen some people actually hang things. Oh, I just totally did that backwards. So that's an easy fix. I'll just open that up again and turn it back around. So I'm going to grab this one again. Now, a lot of people use these for different things. Kim suggested that hanging this off of a tag would be really pretty. I chose to make mine into a bookmark, so I simply tied some ribbon through the top. I've seen more people add other dangles to the top. Oops, I've got glue on my finger. I've seen more people add dangles to the top here as well. I would love to have you post in the comments below how you would use this, because I think one of the things I love about the junk journaling community is we all help each other so that we all can grow and learn new things. And that's one of the things that I absolutely love about this community. So post below your suggestions on how you might use one of these altered paperclip dangles. I'd love to see a conversation about that. And I hope that this has been helpful. I hope that if you have a crop-a-dile, you're not afraid of it anymore. It's really easy to use once you get past that initial thing. I say just start using it. Don't let it sit there for 6 months like I did before you try to use it. It seems scary at first, and yes, it's a big piece of machinery, but never fear the crop-a-dile. It's your friend. I hope I have encouraged you and inspired you to be creative today. I would love to see your altered paper clips as well. And hop over to Kim's Serene Bookworks, and the link will be below, to jump into her challenge and her swap. So we're going to swap these. You have to make 6 of them, and we're going to swap these. So get over there real quickly, check out her video and tutorial, and do something creative today. Bye.